and welcome to the Mindset Coach podcast, the show where coaches and coaches-to-be tune in to learn how to integrate mindset coaching tools and neuroscience-based techniques into their practice and grow and scale a coaching business they love. I'm your host, Lara Young, founder of the Mindset Coach Academy, author of 52 Adventures to Change Your Life, award-winning business owner, coach, and coach trainer. Tune into this podcast each Friday, free on all the podcasting apps, and click to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And remember, mindset is everything. What to do when the unexpected happens in your business. Now, in the past week, something very unexpected and kind of blindsiding happened to me in my business. And I'm going to share that with you along with some really practical tips to make sure that you safeguard yourself and your business from hacking and from going offline for any reason. Now, you may be thinking, Lara, what are you talking about? Something unexpected happening in your business. Isn't that what we're living through at the moment? Didn't we all start the year in 2020 with these grand visions and grand plans for our businesses that we had to be really agile with and flexible with and change once this global pandemic hit? Yeah, of course we did. And I think we're getting used to, aren't we, expecting the unexpected. And we're also getting used to navigating when things that we weren't thinking were going to happen actually happened. And people have shown incredible resilience and incredible agility. They have been, moving online. People who were predominantly working offline and in person have moved online. Live events have become virtual events. And we've seen it globally, this change, this transition. So more people are using Zoom. And of course, more people are using social media as well as the vehicle, the forum through which they conduct their business, through which they make connections, and in some instances also how they actually deliver their products and services. So I wanted today to talk to you about my experience in the last week, about how that has made me realize some of the key fundamental things I wasn't doing in my business. And I want to share with you my top tips. This is definitely one of those shows where you want to grab a pen and a paper so that you can write down the things that you're going to implement as a result of learning about my experience. I don't want to have gone through this and not share with you some things that I know that I could have done to have prevented it happening. So listen, what did happen? What happened was that I had my Facebook account hacked and disabled. So that was my personal account was disabled and my ads account was hacked. And in the small hours of Sunday morning, ads were being run through my account, which I had not authorized, and payments totaling £2,895 were taken from my PayPal account fraudulently. So what happened was on Monday morning, my account was disabled and I had a request from Facebook to provide my identification to prove my age, which I did. I submitted that. And then on Tuesday, it was reactivated. They'd obviously received my ID and they reactivated my account. And yet the payments continued to come out and the account was disabled again, along with one of my Facebook pages and one of my Instagram's accounts for the Mindset Dimensions, which is our new mindset diagnostic product that we are launching. So the thing was, of course, that having my personal account deleted resulted in me losing connections with my friends, with my family. It resulted in me disappearing from groups that I'm in, both as a paid member and as a voluntary member, as part of communities online. It also meant, and here is, I guess, one of the more significant impacts on my business, that all the video replays that I'd posted in my groups for the Mindset Coach Academy's Mindset Coach certification program were automatically deleted. All my posts were gone from those groups, from those community groups. And I didn't have access to my Facebook pages, my Facebook groups either. So I had to remedy that by creating a temporary account just so that I can interact with my students and deliver the service that they're expecting. Our training happens via Zoom, luckily, and luckily we also have everything backed up in Zoom. And we also have a membership site where there is training delivered and housed as well. And so thankfully those things weren't impacted, but certainly the community element was. And also that element of, my mum in Australia not knowing where I am, what's happened to me. We use Facebook to communicate. We do regular FaceTimes on Facebook Messenger, every day. So you can imagine she was unsure about what had happened. And of course, I lost all my family photos and videos and a whole range of things that were really significant to me in terms of my memories. And I think I had just been, like many people are, a bit naive about what happens to all of that data. And the reality is we don't own that data. Facebook's owning that data. And so, I'd heard stories in the past, sure, about people who had their accounts disabled. But I think in the back of my mind, I was always kind of like, well, that's not going to happen to me. And it has happened to me. And so I want to share this story with you so that you can really take action now in your business to protect yourself from potential disablement of your account and losing all of that collateral, losing all of those connections. I've been on Facebook 17 years now. And that's a lot of connections. And the more I think about it every day, I'm realizing the things that I now no longer have access to. And I really don't want that to happen to you. So let's get started. What are my things that I recommend that you do straight after you've heard this or watched this to secure your account and secure your ability to use platforms in social media? And of course, to secure your business, because it does have a big impact on your ability to communicate and connect and network. So number one is, please think about where you're putting your eggs. Are they all in the one basket? So we all have platforms that we gravitate towards, and we all know we have platforms where our clients tend to hang out on, or our prospective clients tend to congregate. And you'll likely have one or two programs that you're on most often than others. I was on Facebook and obviously and Instagram, which are of course linked. And so not only did my Facebook account go down and my ad account, but also my Instagram account as well, linked to Mindset Dimensions. And so I'm also active on LinkedIn, although that had dropped away at the start of the last lockdown because I was homeschooling and everything. And that was one of the things, engaging on LinkedIn was one of the things that kind of fell a little bit by the wayside. And as for Twitter, haven't really been active on Twitter for a very long time. So in essence, what had happened was, in focusing on a couple of platforms and not on the others, I am in a position now where I'm re-engaging and reconnecting on Twitter and on LinkedIn, so that I do have that level of connection and networking, which, I crave for one thing. I like to be part of a community of people, but also, which is important in terms of growing and scaling my business. So think about your social media. Where are you at the moment? How many platforms are you showing up on? And what is your contingency plan? What is your plan B in the event that information, those connections, that data is taken away really quickly in an instant from you, just as mine was? So have a think about that. Now, again, with each of those platforms, make sure that if you've got a page or you've got a group, add some trusted admins into those who have the right to be admins in those groups, so that they can add you back in as an admin in the event that you are able to create a temporary account or you're able to get back in there. Make sure you've got some way of accessing those accounts. Want to learn more about how you can become a certified mindset coach? head on over to our website, www.mindsetcoachacademy.com/coach certification, and you'll find all the information that you need, along with a button to book a call with me to talk about how you can become the best coach you can be. Enable your two-factor authentication as well. Make sure that you're using a phone number or another email address so that you can always get into your account, and it just is giving it that extra layer of protection. I would also make sure that you are downloading your content from your personal page as well as from your business pages from Facebook on a regular basis. Just make it a little date, maybe once a month, once a quarter, in line with your 90-day planning. Just click that download data button. Until this happened to me, I didn't know that was an option, but you can actually download your file from Facebook. Highly recommend that you do that so that you have got that information to hand and all is not lost. Second thing I want to mention is the strength of passwords. So I don't know, I was always a bit of a lazy password creator. Mainly because I don't have the best memory sometimes for those kinds of things. My dad says I've got a memory of an elephant for everything else that happens in life, but passwords certainly is not one of those things. So I've tended to be a bit lazy when it comes to creating passwords. Now, I also use LastPass, so I do use LastPass to store and share passwords. And again, what I hadn't been doing was using the more complicated auto-generate password, where it automatically generates a more complex, more detailed, stronger password for you. And so that's something that I'm very much doing now. And I recommend that you do that too, that you create and make sure that you are changing your passwords on a regular basis. Create really super strong ones. Use something like LastPass to make that happen. Now, the next thing is email is king. So you need to make sure that in addition to your engagement that you're doing on social media, the way that you're connecting with people on the social media platforms and networks is backed up by a really robust email list. Now, if I didn't have an email community, like people who have signed up for my opt-ins, lead magnets, newsletter, etc., then I would literally have no way of contacting those people that are working with me or that have expressed interest of working with me in the past. So make sure, and this might be the opportunity where you think to yourself, do I need another opt-in? Do I need to produce something that is high quality, high value content that will help me grow and build my list? Do I need to have something by which I can attract people sufficiently that they're going to give me their email address and be a regular, someone who I can regularly communicate with via email? Now, I'm not talking about generating something that is, we've all downloaded it, haven't we? We've all had those things that we've downloaded in excited anticipation and been disappointed. What I'm suggesting to you is that you find something that you can create as an opt-in or a lead magnet that will lead people to really understand the nature of the work that you do, your expert status, that you're really sharing something of great value with them, and that you are building up that email list. We will be doing something on lead magnets opt-ins in future shows. But for now, have a think about that. Review the opt-ins that you've got. Maybe start to get them out a bit more often. Maybe start to embed them in your blog posts. Maybe start to share them a bit more as part of your overall social media strategy. Share the links to them and make sure that that is part of what you're doing every day or every week to really grow and build that email list. Now, the next thing is make sure that you have a contingency plan. So if it were to go today, and you can do this for each of the platforms, but if things were to disappear today, what would you do? Now, hopefully, having backed everything up and made sure that you have admins who you trust, it would not be so much of an issue for you. But I do want you to think about, like, we've got a launch coming up. How are you going to launch? What would you do in that situation? Which other platforms are you going to turn to? How are you going to engage with people without that information? And similarly with Facebook being my primary mode of communication, with my friends and family at the moment, you know, being able to keep in touch regularly with people in Australia so easily as well, you know, how have you got that information? Like most of us, we used to have a phone book, didn't we, with everyone's phone number in. I mean, to be honest, I don't know the phone number, the address of 99% of my friends and family members because I don't need to, because we connect in that way. So make sure you are downloading regularly your files from Facebook, and make sure that you've got other ways of contacting those people other than just through Facebook, and maybe even let them know, kind of in true celebrity style, that if your account does get disabled, this is the name, this is the account that you're going to set up so that they can contact you, or better yet, set up another temporary account that you know that you're going to have access to straight away in the event that you do or could get you have your account suspended, disabled, or deleted for any reason. The other thing I wanted to mention was that if you haven't already documented all your processes in your business, now's a really good time to do that as well. Now, this, of course, applies not just in the event that your identity is gone from Facebook, in this case, but also in the event that you're ill or something happens, a life event happens that takes you away from being able to be online as much as you have been. Make sure all your processes are documented and share them with someone else. Share them with, you know, your VA, admins, social media manager, whoever you've got, share them with those people. And if you are a team of one, share it with a close friend, share it with your partner so that they know what to do to help you in your business. Share it with your business bestie online so that they know how they can help you in the event that anything like that would happen. Now, the other thing that it really helps you to do, and that you can start doing anyway, and it's good practice as a business owner, is to really engage in expansive thinking. Like, how can I think creatively and more expansively beyond what this platform has enabled me to do? So for me, for example, I mean, aside from the shock and the thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? The next thing is, okay, so what does this enable me to do? Why is this happening for me? What is it letting me know and see and experience that I need to know and see and experience to get to the next level in my business, to grow my business? Because as I said, we've got a big launch coming up. So, you know, it's interesting. And I've been thinking about it. It has really given me pause to reflect and to think, well, for the Academy, for the Mindset Coach certification, I'm very clear about my ideal clients, you know, people who, and the people who are currently working with me, you know, from brand new coaches, people who've never coached before, to 6- and 7-figure coaches. And they all get, you know, equal value from participating in the program, because they recognize that mindset is everything. And as a coach, they need tools to help their clients transform at the conscious and the unconscious level. It's also given me pause to think, where am I playing small, and where else could I be showing up and letting people know that there's this amazing toolkit available, there's this amazing comprehensive certification available, that perhaps I'm not doing so at the moment. And it's kind of like, well, yeah, absolutely. Being someone who was a, you know, global leader in the corporate environment, there is so many applications for what we do at the Mindset Coach Academy. And equally, of course, for Mindset Dimensions, which is our diagnostic tool. It's a suite of mindset metrics that help leaders and coaches and therapists get a deep insight into what makes their clients and teams tick, so that they can coach and lead really effectively, and to help affect individual and organizational change. And so it's made me really reflect and think, well, actually, this may be a great opportunity now to think about how to engage those markets that perhaps I've neglected for a while. Well, not perhaps, that I know I have neglected for a while, in terms of, you know, nurturing those relationships, and also really enjoying, you know, engaging with people who are still in the corporate world. You know, I've got a lot of friends who are still working in the corporate world in a range of different sectors. And, you know, I do miss that, I guess, you know, the conversation and that sort of almost that jousting and thinking about ideas and thinking in a different way than perhaps I do now as a business owner. And even though I think, from the work that I do, and I'm quite strategic and quite, I've got a pretty clear vision of where I want to take my business. I just know that actually thinking outside of my current environment and the current spheres in which I've been operating will really help that sense of expansiveness. And I'm not just talking about in terms of growing and scaling the business. I'm also talking in terms of me as a person and my own personal development and growth, having that level of challenge and, those great conversations that you have about, what's possible and theories and statistics and all those good things. So yeah, it's given me pause, and it's made me think, well, where do I want this business and mindset dimensions to go, and what are all the various applications? And so hopefully those tips have been useful for you, and that you will go out immediately and make sure your passwords are strong, share your processes, create admins if you've got pages or groups, add people in as admins that you trust. Really make sure that you are not putting all your eggs in one basket, that you are really aligned to the different platforms in terms of, being engaged, communicating, that you have a great way to encourage people onto your email list so that you can build those connections via email and not just on social media. So please do take some action. I'd love to hear the action that you've taken as a result of this. Please pop me a comment. And next week and in future weeks, we will be looking at our habits and behaviors as coaches. And we're going to touch back on this, and I will keep you updated as to what's happened with the Facebook account. And fingers crossed that it does all get restored. And in the meantime, you can follow me over on Instagram at Mindset Coach Academy. Bye for now. That wraps up this week's episode of the Mindset Coach podcast. Remember to join us next week for another episode, and subscribe on your favourite podcast app. Leave us a review if you've loved it. Share it with your friends, and I really look forward to learning how you're implementing the tools and techniques that you're learning here. Mindset is everything.